Alright, what's up you guys? Welcome to another SHARKNEWZ episode as we are reaching the final few days of October, aka Sharktober, and I figured what better way than to talk about some G.I. Joes on a beautiful Sunday. So huge shout out to 3djoes.com, aka Carson, for allowing me to use these photos in this video. They are such great supporters of the channel, so thank you so much. I have such a great fond appreciation and enjoy our interactions over on Instagram, so thank you for allowing me to use these photos in today's video. But it seems like in the terms of G.I. Joe Classified and what we've recently been revealed during the MCM London event, we now got the almost close to completing the original 13 G.I. Joe figures in 6-inch classified scale. So where does that lead a lot of collectors? Will collectors basically who wanted the diehard G.I. Joe OG 13 to have in their collection basically call it a day and they will be selective moving forward? Or will they continue just collecting the brand just because that's what we all grew up on, right? So it could go either way, but regardless, the G.I. Joe team is kind of pumping out the OG 13 a little bit slowly, but we're getting pretty close as we are reaching the final 2 characters before we complete the roster. So this is more of an updated video for those who have not seen the first version that I did, I think about a half a year ago. So if you want to check that out, go ahead. Otherwise, for all you newcomers who are new to G.I. Joe, this video is mostly dedicated to you guys for those who want to know about the original 13 or, want to know what the big hoopla for these characters are all about. So let's go ahead and see what the G.I. Joe team has given us so far and what we can anticipate moving forward in the future. And this is also slightly in no particular order, so let's just have fun with this. So coming up first at number 1, we have the character Breaker. Now, we have 2 variants of Breaker. We have the Cobra Island Breaker, which I think looks like Jake Gyllenhaal, whatever the hell his last name is. And then we have the Mass Device Breaker as well with the bubblegum. Then I have the comparison of the original O-Ring Breaker as well there on the side. So as you can see here, the original O-Ring, or should I say the classified version, and the Mass Device Breaker is like a mix and match of the original O-Ring version. The classified scale, the Cobra Island one, of course, it's a really great figure, don't get me wrong, I love it. It's just, the green color schemes is awesome. So it offers the same color scheme as the original Breaker. But when you look at the Mass Device Breaker, that one has more of the, I guess you can say, Breaker that a lot of people wanted, and I think it's more catered towards the cartoon. Therefore, we're kind of still getting there towards the Breaker that maybe collectors still want or need, but either version works in your collection. There's absolutely nothing wrong. I think both head sculpts look great. Colors are both good in their own way. And unless you want a Breaker with the Ram cycle, that's really up to you. But otherwise, both figures are just, they're great. I have no objections to it. The O-Ring, of course, is definitive, so there's no need to share my thoughts on that one. But we can see a lot of the inspiration with the straps and in some of the grenades, although I think it's missing a few here and there. But you can see how they basically updated the hell out of this original O-Ring because it was really simple compared to the 2 that we have now. So this is what I call a welcoming addition of modern upgrades. So both versions are just good in their own way. So it's really up to you how you want to create your OG 13 universe, if you want to go more into comics, if you want to go more into cartoon, or go into more of the original O-Ring version. So, but either way, both versions are great, and knowing that we at least have 2, you can kind of mix and match and see what versions you're really catered to. And I think you could actually swap heads and put that Mass Device on the other one and then use the bubblegum. I mean, I don't know, both are good, but it's up to you. So that is Breaker for those who are a big fan of this character. Coming in at number 2, we have Clutch. Now, Clutch is surprisingly, and I will say he is probably in my top 10 favorite classified figures ever made. I absolutely love this figure. I think Clutch is such a great sculpted character, or just figure itself. He comes with the vamp, but vehicle aside, I love the color scheme of the greens. I love just everything about it is a very nice update to what we can expect for in a classified scale. You can see a lot of the inspirations of the browns and the greens, and then kind of giving it an elevated form of what we had prior. Good facial features, or should I say facial hair, the mustache, the chin hair, gave him a little bit of tattoos, some extra holsters, and etc., and some straps and pouches. And yeah, otherwise, the short sleeves, all that, really great. I mean, again, fantastic figure. I absolutely love it. Now, some can argue and say we don't need a more simplified version, because here's the thing. The G.I. Joe team can either give us a straightforward, regular classified scale version in terms of it's a modern update and we don't need an original, or they can someday in the future give us a more stripped down version like how we see the O-ring one. But again, this one is still fantastic. I love it, so I have no objections into what can be done to make it better, because it's already like a 10 out of a 10 figure for me. If they decide to ever make it a simplified version, then sure, why not? But this one is still a beautiful one. So it's really up to you and how you want to, um, you know, build your own, universe for the original 13. Otherwise, I love this figure. It's so great. Coming in at number 3, we have Grunt. Grunt is one of those characters where you can see the elevation of updates, but at the same time, the sticking true to the source material in terms of the browns, the greens, the boots having the multi-tones of the greens and browns. And then we're not going to talk about the Joe Pro on the right shoulders for some of these characters, because I could care less about those. But I do like the strap that goes right in the middle of the figure with the little communicator thing on the front. You could also substitute or utilize these figures as slight army builders if you prefer, because this, at the time when this figure released, people loved the mold or the sculpting of this figure, that it was basic enough to give you like green shirt army builders if you wanted to remove the straps and stuff. So great for customizations and those collectors who wanted like to build like a green team. The original O-ring had kind of more of a receding hairline, but this one they gave it more just, it was standard hair, fine. Gave him gloves, and I think we might see this figure come back in the future. I'm not too sure, but it's still as modern and updated as it can be. So this one is still fine. There's no objections to it. Looks great, and it's another decent one to add into the collection. I may not be the biggest Grunt fan overall, but he's still iconic into the team, so you can't go wrong with this guy. Coming in at number 4, we have my favorite character, Hawk. Now, this is a kind of a no-brainer because we have the one in the middle that came with the MMS, but we also have the version 2 version, which is my favorite version of any G.I. Joe character in general. But we can see here that the O-ring one has the same similarities as the MMS, so we're going to exclude the one all the way on the left. But again, it's really up to you if you want to use either version. But for the diehard fans, we know that the one in the middle is the more definitive one. If you want to create a more super duper modern update version of the OG 13, then yeah, you can use the one on the left, even though, it's version 2. But I do like how the one in the middle contains the same blonde hair. The greens are great. They gave him some extra holsters on the sides, and then the whole strap piece in the middle, the pouches and all that stuff. It would have been nice if it had more of the metal pieces that we see on the right or on both shoulders of the figure. But otherwise, fantastic. Give it like a 9.5 out of 10. It's Hawk. You can't go wrong with this. And I remember collectors were anxiously waiting for a blonde Hawk figure. So now that we finally got him, and plus he came with the MMS, fantastic. So great addition. It's Hawk. You can't go wrong with it. So it's Hawk. What can I say? It's a mandatory guy, freaking leader. Why not? So otherwise, that is Hawk. Either option works for you, but again, one in the middle, more definitive, and it stays true to the comics as well. So very great. Up next at number 5, we have Rock and Roll. Now, to be quite honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the classified version in terms of the one on the left, because all the tattoos, etc., and then the beige torso. I understand and I like it for what it is, but I'm not the biggest fan of its color scheme, and I don't know. It just never really settled with me, even after owning the figure. The one in the middle, of course, they readjusted the color schemes, and then they removed the tattoos, and then they gave us a more accurate version to the original O-ring that you see on the far right. So this is a prime example of what the G.I. Joe team can kind of confuse you on, because some characters that are roughly closer to the original gets a re-release to make it more original, whereas some characters that are way too modern and updated, that looks really nothing like the original, doesn't get the simplified treatment. So I have a feeling that the G.I. Joe team will cautiously re-release some of the ones that didn't get a second variant and onto the retro card, but it's not guaranteed. So it's really up to you and how you want to collect this particular the group. However, the one in the middle, very definitive, and plus giving him, the nice textured beard, etc., you can just see, comparing and contrasting from the middle into the right O-ring version, how it stays very true to the original. So yeah, it's iconic. You can't go wrong with it. So otherwise, if you want a modern version of Rock and Roll, one on the left is for you. Or if you want to mix and match, whatever, go ahead. It's up to you. But still think the one in the middle works well with this version. So Rock and Roll, great little re-release there. So I know a lot of collectors were probably like, oh man, but it's good to have it. So both versions. I mean, if you want the tattoos, fine. Otherwise, no harm done if you don't want it. Coming in at number 6, we have Scarlet. So we don't need to talk about the one on the left. We know that was the Operation Blackout armored aesthetic, which, rest in peace, is no longer with us. So we could disregard the Fortnite features of the simplified face. Of course, this Scarlet was long overdue, so we finally got a retro Scarlet. 100% accurate, 10 out of 10. Looks very iconic like the original. Of course, a little bit modern updates here and there. Otherwise, it's very exact to the T. Beautiful face sculpt. Great. Of course, they were going to use it for a Glenda re-release, but otherwise, you can see that the inspiration is 100% there, paying homage to the classics. So I know a lot of people who had the first version of Scarlet were considering doing the original 13 with her, but honestly, you can just, if you like it, fine, but I don't care for it. So the one in the middle, retro carded Scarlet, 100% needed. This is, and plus she's the only female of the original 13. So, unless you want to exclude that mysterious shooter, the 14th character, not the female one, but unless you want to use the female shooter, it's up to you. But either way, Scarlet, hell yeah, really cool. And plus the O-ring Scarlet kind of has a big head, but it's fine. Otherwise, essential, man, essential. No need to not pass on this, or no need to pass on this figure. Coming in at number 7, we have Shortfuse. Now, this was one of the latest ones that came out as a Target exclusive 2-pack. It looks good. I mean, very respectable to the old aesthetic. We have some updated details on the belt, giving us some browns and blacks. The straps are there. The boots have the same multicolored tones with the browns and greens. Otherwise, the pants are fine. They gave him gloves. So that's what I like. Very minor updates. This is one of those tricky situations because, as I mentioned before, this one pays as you can see here, pays homage to the old original version, but it also comes in the standard G.I. Joe classified packaging, but not the retro carded packaging. I will make a whole separate video on that in the future, so stay tuned. But that's what I'm saying. It's a little bit mixing and matching here and a little bit confusing to collectors who don't know the concept between regular packaging of classified and then the retro carded, and the difference between having a figure that's a regular figure that becomes a retro carded, or a retro carded that won't get a regular update, if that makes any sense. So I will do a video on that someday in the future. Stay tuned. So otherwise, this is a very essential character, great one to have in the collection. I think some people started to get their shipping at some point. I saw a few people on socials receiving there, so I'm sure they're getting it at some point. So otherwise, great figure, blonde hair, fantastic, and yeah, it's good. Coming up next at number 8, we have Snake Eyes. Now, I included 3 variants of Snake Eyes, so it's really up to you and how you want to utilize this particular character or version. So the one on the far left, we have the Alpha Commando Snake Eyes that came with Timber. I mean, that's more of a rigorous, heavy, updated version of the retro card that we see in the middle. Now, the retro card one is the more definitive version. That's the one that collectors want. That's the one that's, I think, going a little bit higher in value. Of course, the Alpha Commando is a little bit more rare, but it's more black and nitty and grittier compared to the retro carded one. But both versions are fantastic. Both would look great in your collection, so either option works. Now, I believe in the cartoon, and I think in the comics, I could be wrong, because I think in the comics he had like subtle shades of blue here and there depending on the illustration. The mass device Snake Eyes can kind of work in this scenario too. Now, I know a lot of people may disagree with me, and that's totally fine, but I feel like you can also use the mass device version if you so prefer. You can just remove the hands, give them like alternate black gloves, or you can just give them alternate white hands, whatever it is you want to prefer. But it's really, again, up to you and how you want to utilize it. But as you can see, the original version on the far right is the all black aesthetic of Snake Eyes, so it does pay more homage to either the retro card or the Alpha Commando Snake Eyes. So, or if you even want to use the original version, like 02 Snake Eyes, that's up to you, because that's more of a ninja-esque. This one has more of the stealth version of Snake Eyes, which is the more nitty-grittier, non-ninja-esque version of Snake Eyes. So I think all 3 options would be great in your collection. So it's really up to you and how you want to utilize the Snake Eyes character. But I don't know. I'm still torn in terms of I want to use all 3, but I don't know. I know the retro one is more definitive, but I love the Alpha Commando and I love the mass device one too. So again, it's really up to you and how you want to utilize cartoon and comics versus original O-ring aesthetic. So the choice is yours. Coming in at number 9, we have Stalker, another character with multiple variants, but as we can see here, that I love that first version of Stalker that they released. As much as I'm not a fan of muted colors, I love the Stalker. He's definitely in my like top 15 favorite classified figures to date. Love everything about it, the aesthetics, and just the scarf that he comes with, and the overall design of it is just beautiful. It's a great figure. Sure, he has a little bit of age to him, but that just gives you more characteristics towards the character. And then we got a re-release of Stalker that's more cartoon and original accurate. In terms of, we got the vibrant light green and green camo. One of the things that people kind of weren't too happy about was that the actual beret that Stalker wears is not accurate, because he's supposed to be wearing a dark green beret. But again, if that's minor enough for you to nitpick on, it's up to you. But this retro one is still fantastic. I love those vibrant greens. It does make the figure pop in the collection. And as you can see, the original Stalker on the right has the same concept, and it's just, yeah, it looks great. Sure, it's a lot darker compared to the retro one, but again, it's really up to you and how you want to, I think both options are great for a modern aesthetic of the OG 13 or completely retrofied version of the O-ring ones, or like a blown up version of the 3-inch into 6-inch figure. So yeah, so other than the beret, great re-release. So this is what I'm talking about. When you have a regular modern version, but the retro one or the re-release is very much more, like, you can tell the difference between the retro and modern. And that's what I like about Classified, is when you have these 2 variants and you can kind of pick and choose in how you want to go about it. Whereas some characters in Classified, you can't really tell that much of a difference, because it's like either some characters are more pearlier, some characters are just like extra, like some little, they're stripped down, but a little extra coloring here. They're like, it doesn't make much of a difference enough to be an incentive for you to buy or double dip the same figure twice. Whereas this one, even if you have both versions, like they're both fine, right? So it's not like, yeah, you're double dipping on names, but it's not like you're getting like literally the exact same figure, i.e., Storm Shadow. Not much of a difference other than the gloves and the pearlier white that they gave him. So yeah, otherwise, Stalker, essential character. Love this guy, love it. So yeah, great essential character to have in the collection. Coming in at number 10, we have Stealer. Stealer is another prime example of very stripped down classified figure, but in a non-retro packaging. So we can see here, very iconic, close to the exact original. I mean, they kind of changed his hairstyle by giving him a little part, kind of like the 90s Backstreet Boys hairstyle, Nick Carter. But the green stuff looks really cool. Love the pouch, love the pouches, the holsters, and the straps on the sides. Very, very minimal designing, but when you equip them with all his accessories that he comes with, it looks freaking fantastic. So, plus they even gave him gloves. So I thought like something like this. Sometimes the classified team would give him like bare hands, but the fact that he has gloves in this, at least in this photography, looks great. So, and plus nice attention to detail with the lime green shirt underneath. So yeah, and you can see that silver buckles there underneath the belt. Very cool and nice, head sculpt. The originals, the head sculpts are always a bit weird, but it looks great. All right, so otherwise, Stealer, another fantastic addition into the line, and he came in the 2-pack with Shortfuse. Coming in at number 11, which is Zap. This is the latest figure that's going up for pre-order on November 4th for those who are watching this at the time of making this video, whereas for those who are watching this way later down the line, this figure has not been up for pre-order yet, but it will be on November 4th. You can tell the O-ring version has such a weird designed head sculpt. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But the new one, they gave him a mustache. They kind of gave him more of a darker tan, and then he has like I guess, yeah, more of a simplified black hair, whereas I feel like the original one had, I can't really tell from this image, but otherwise you can see the brown straps, looks great. The belts with the browns, good detail, and then plus brown straps and holsters on the legs and thighs, which really adds more detail to the figure. Definitely makes it pop a lot more, which I do like. The boots, very nice. The two-tone colors of the greens and browns, bare hands, and yeah, I mean, it's another fantastic one to add into the collection. And not to mention, this is a retro carded Zap. So again, another confusing aspect. Zap gets the retro carded treatment, but not the original modern classified treatment in terms of the square box compared to the retro card packaging. So again, a little bit mixing and matching. I don't know if the Hasbro team knows what they're doing, but it's fine for what it is. Pretty cool nonetheless. And we'll talk about more in another future video, but otherwise, this is the latest figure revealed for now. I don't know what's going on right now. Give me 1 second here. Okay. And last but not least, we still have the last 2 remaining figures within the classified line is none other than Flash and GRANDSLAM. So just by looking at these 2 figures, you can literally see that they're both roughly the same exact figure. Just one has black boots, one has brown boots, one has black gloves, the other one has brown gloves. Different hairstyles. Otherwise, I want to see how the G.I. Joe team is going to make these 2. Will these 2 be a 2-pack? Will they be sold individually? We don't know. Otherwise, literally the same. They both look the same. I mean, the G.I. Joe team has to really think of an innovative way to make them look a little bit more drastic or different compared to each other in terms of, pop out some colors with the belts, add a little more oomph to the gloves or maybe the boots, maybe something in terms of accessories or even the helmets or the head sculpts, etc., etc. So chances are, I wouldn't mind a 2-pack just to knock 2 birds with 1 stone. One's darker red, one's a little bit more vibrant red, but either either version works depending on whichever one you want. So as you can see here, like I said before, these are the last 2 remaining classified figures for the original 13, and until we see what happens, time will tell. But yeah, so exciting because we're almost at the finish line. And last but not least, or should I say the finale, this is the original 11. So like I said, we still got Flash and GRANDSLAM to go over, but looking at all of these figures as a whole, holy crap, they just look absolutely beautiful. Now, I did mix and match because like I said before, some figures got the retro treatment, some figures are the mainline classified releases, so it's a little bit mix and match, a little bit of a mess all over the place, but again, I feel like you can literally just create your own universe and how you want the color themes and color theme and aesthetics to work in your collection. I mean, it's your collection, your universe. You can build it however as you want. This is just my interpretation, my take on it, on which figures I want to use. I mean, you can substitute this Mass Device Breaker for the Cobra Island one, or you could utilize, I don't know, one of the other Snake Eyes that I talked about, or you can put in the Tattooed Rock and Roll. Or if you want, you can have the original Stalker. So it's really up to you, because some figures like Clutch and Grunt are one-off figures. We haven't seen anything re-released on them for now, but otherwise, we're almost there, guys. We're almost there. So I had fun looking at all these. It just makes me drool of how beautiful all of these figures look together. So I cannot wait to see official photography from collectors once all 13 are out, and just see like a group shot of how these figures are made. So with that being said, stay tuned for more updates on the channel. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for subscribing, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new to the channel, I hope this was a little bit more informative, and hope you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much, and stay tuned for more videos, as I will have more coming soon. Something around in this style of videos as we wait for more things to talk about. So once again, thank you all for watching. Be sure to give a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next episode.